Hi everyone! So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is finally in Australia. I think we're about 2 weeks behind of America. So for the last 2 weeks I've been trying really hard to avoid any news to do with the movie. I was just so excited for it. I didn't want to see any spoilers. So now that it's finally here, I went to see the very first session that I could. It's not that I'm a huge Quentin Tarantino fan. I really enjoyed his movies. I was really excited for this movie, mainly because of the cast. I absolutely adore Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, Margot Robbie, and then there was a few surprises that I also adore. So you've got Timothy Olyphant, who I just absolutely love and was so excited to see him in the film. So going into it, I wasn't sure what to expect. The fact the movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes had me a little concerned because I'm like, while Quentin Tarantino is good with storytelling, he's very hit and miss with me. There's a few films I haven't seen, like Jackie Brown. There's a few that I enjoyed but would never watch again, like Pulp Fiction. There's a few that I absolutely love, like Django Unchained and The Hateful Eight, and even then they are quite lengthy. And then Inglourious Basterds I just absolutely hated. So he is very hit and miss with me. He probably has more films out where he's just the producer, like he's just attached his name, but he's not the director at all. So I was a little concerned going into it, especially because despite them talking about that was the Charles Manson family, there was nothing really in the trailer to do with it. So I'm like, oh, what are they actually giving us in this film? So going into it, 2 hours and 40 minutes had me a little concerned. Sorry. And it's a very slow, big build. So the first 2 hours is probably just more build, more storytelling. It is incredible storytelling. There is not a bad story that Quentin Tarantino can do. Even if a movie is dead boring, it's still got a huge, interesting story behind it. Brad Pitt is easily the standout of this film. His character is attached to the movies, he's attached to the Charles Manson story, he is attached to his own story. There's a thing about whether he murdered his wife, which would probably be a movie just on its own. Like, his character is so beyond interesting. Leonardo DiCaprio is incredible. His performance is amazing, especially there is a particular caravan scene that was improvised. Quentin Tarantino hates when actors improvise, but obviously he really enjoys Leo doing it because Leo did it for Django Unchained, which became such an iconic scene, and now he's done it once again in this movie, and it's just one of the most incredible scenes that I absolutely adored. And then the fact that it's improvised made it even better. Margot Robbie I really enjoyed, and she's really great as Sharon Tate. She doesn't really get much dialogue, but that doesn't take away from her performance at all. Like, I feel like they were trying to show that no matter what Sharon Tate was doing, she shines. Like, she's simply just dancing in the room. She's walking around her house, packing and dancing, and it's just, it was memorizing. Like, what she was doing was just so simple, and yet she just looked gorgeous doing it. So I think that's what they were trying to give, that Sharon Tate had such a short life that was taken from her, but she was just, like, in a dark room, she was the light that shined. So I think, like, they did such a great job kind of just showing that essence of her. So Margot Robbie doesn't really get to interact with Leo or Brad that much at all. They kind of had their own 2 separate stories going that intertwines in the third act. Sorry. And the third act of the conclusion of the film, the slow pace really pays off here. And this is probably the least violent movie of Quentin Tarantino's that I've ever seen. And it does get a little violent towards the end, but it's just such an extraordinary fight sequence. And it's humorous at the same time. I don't want to give away spoilers at all, but the third act is by far my favorite. The whole movie is really enjoyable. If you enjoy the way movies are made, the way they are presented, this is a love letter to movies. This is a love letter to the decade. This is a love letter to actors becoming the roles rather than just phoning it in like, oh yeah, I'm just this character for a day. Like, they show how actors really dedicate their time to becoming this character. And I just enjoyed the movie. And I really want to go see it again, because now I know what to expect, just to see whether there is more foreshadowing or like kind of storytelling that I missed originally, because it was just a long build. But I just absolutely enjoyed the performances of Brad Pitt and Leo, and this movie is by far worth seeing again just for them. So I hope that you really enjoyed the film. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite Quentin Tarantino movie is, and if even there's a movie that you hate. So thanks for watching. As always, like, comment and subscribe, and thank you all very much.